Welcome back to Lockdown Lab, where we're trying experimental cooking during the lockdown period. And today I'm going to take you to one of my favorite countries, which is Syria, and to Damascus, the capital, where I discovered a dish called Fattet Makdous. And if you just have a look over here, the key ingredient to Fattet Makdous is small aubergines, minced meat, which gets stuffed into the aubergine and layered onto a bed of yogurt with lemon juice and tahini, sitting on pita chips, which I'm just going to put into the oven now. Just add salt to taste, and I'll add some cumin, which is used quite a lot in Middle Eastern cooking as well as in Asian cooking. And secret ingredient, a bit of cinnamon, very typical for Fattet Makdous. Quite a bit of that. And then I've got some chopped garlic. I've been a little bit lazy because it's Ramadan and it's fairly coarsely chopped, which shouldn't really matter because it will cook itself in. So just add some fairly broadly chopped tomatoes. And again, if you want to be a real perfectionist, you can blanch the tomatoes in boiling water and take off the skin. And we'll put the aubergines in as well. Get them going. Just using my hands. Just be careful not to touch the pan when you're doing this. So just using my hands to put them in a bit more delicately. And I've just discovered in the fridge that my wife's been marinating some small tomatoes, which have just about become a tomato paste. So I've just stolen those and put them in. Hopefully she won't discover. And so this is lovely Greek yogurt, which I just bought from the deli today. We had social distancing, about a half squeezed lemon, just a general yellow lemon. Put a little bit of salt in for taste. I might just add a little bit more cinnamon, which is just going to complement the yogurt with the eggplant. And just start mixing that together. This is going to form the base for the dish. And then the other ingredient to add is a little bit of tahini. So just a tiny amount, probably about that much, if you like. I'm not really into measuring very much when I'm cooking, to be honest, so I'm the worst person to ask for a recipe or to sort of explain how many grams of stuff need to go in. I love this dish because it takes me back to my memories of Damascus. Like a tremendous city. I don't know if you've been there, but it's obviously now riven with war. But it's been the world's oldest inhabited, continuously lived in city, 4,000 years. Mark Twain once wrote that anybody who's writing history can write it up and send it to Damascus where it can be read. And now what we're going to do is just start whisking this up a little bit. So I won't be using a whizzer today, just a general hand whisk, nothing major. And then we can pretty much think that's more or less there. That's now just ready to be laid into the serving dish. Medium-sized bunch of parsley, just take the stalk off, and I'll just chop down the stalks and put that into the mince. It'll just add to the flavour and it'll cook itself in. Chop this parsley down, and I'm going to use about a half for adding as a garnish to the dish. And the other half I'm going to chop down fairly finely, and I'm just going to be adding that in to the mince and to the aubergine as well. So if you want to come around here, I'll just show you as this goes in. So here we go. Look at that, just already looking lovely the way that's enriching the meat there. And we'll just pour a little bit, not too much into there. Stalky bit, we'll put that into the meat. Now, of course, I'm calling this a Syrian dish, but many of my Mediterranean friends will claim this is theirs, because many Mediterranean countries share their kitchen cultural history. So hopefully it creates a bit of a debate amongst some of you as well. Most of my cooking is pretty self-taught, really, and also my parents back in London used to have a restaurant. So when I grew up sort of working evenings in my dad's restaurant, which meant that I was exposed to cooking a lot, the sort of cooking styles. But then just travelling around the world, picked up a lot more dishes along the way. So here we are. So that's garlic's just ready to go in. I'm actually just going to use a little bit of it. I've taken some French mini toasts on a dish, and I've grilled some Halloumi cheese, which I'm just going to spread out over the mini toasts. And this is going to be just a lovely crispy accompaniment to the Fattet Makdous. Just sprinkle a little bit of olive oil on there. So it's a little bit like a sort of bruschetta Middle Eastern style, if you like. And a couple of bits of pomegranate too. There we go. So I've done a little bit of cheating, and I've just sort of fast forwarded the aubergine by boiling it for a few minutes because it wasn't really cooking fast enough. And now this is ready to go back to its original tomato base. I'm just putting it back in there now, and soon, now that it's rejuvenated with its home, as you can see, the aubergines are beautifully cooked now with the tomato base. So now we're going to start putting our Fattet Makdous together. All of our pieces of it are ready. So we've got the dish with the pita chips at the bottom, and then I'm going to layer in the yogurt, which we prepared earlier. It's a Greek yogurt actually, so a little bit of an extra Mediterranean flavour there. Just have a look at the tomato coming onto the yogurt there. I think the contrast of colour is just wonderful, and a little bit of that sort of random feel as well. And then we'll just take the aubergine pieces and place them in, comme ça. The last time I had this in Damascus was sitting outside the Umayyad Mosque, sitting in the annals of probably 40 centuries of history. Carry on with the operation. We're just going to make some small incisions into the aubergine. Okay, you can even hear the pita cracking there, which is just a lovely sound. And we're going to take some of the mince, and we're just going to start just putting it in like that. Don't have to get it too far in, to be honest. It's more just to marry up the mince. Put in a bit of the pomegranate. This is my own innovation, so I hadn't seen it with pomegranate myself, but it's a very traditional fruit used in Syrian cooking. And finally, the very finely chopped parsley that we just added in. All a little bit spontaneous, to be honest. None of this is completely planned. Put parsley on top. And there we are, straight to your table in an hour of cooking from the streets of Damascus. We have Fattet Makdous, and we have a Halloumi accompaniment sitting on French toasts. Enjoy, and thanks for coming into Lockdown Lab.